Hey guys, I am back with a little share of some projects that I made. More tags just because I had time to play with some things. So I wanted to make some projects with some of the recipe stamps that I've been collecting. So I used this stamp, which is from Crafter's Companion. It is the Comfort, Joy, and Cookies. So this is the one that has the homemade chocolate chip cookie recipe in it. It's right here. And I think I just used that and the little cookie that's next to it from the set. There is a stamp and a die. I just used the stamp this time. And I used this, let's see, I used this die, which is the cookie sheet from Honeybee Stamps, and also the spatula. I didn't use any of the other parts and pieces, but you can get an idea. This is a pretty large cooking sheet or baking sheet. And then I used this metallic cardstock from Tim Holtz Ideology. Now I used the silver. You can see on the cover that it looks really distressed, but that's not actually how it looks when you see it. It's more like this, very shiny. So I had this idea that you could have one of those baking sheets that looks really new. When you get it, it's never scratched up. Or if you use it like I do and you don't put like parchment paper down when you bake cookies, your sheet looks a little worse for wear, but you know, it's being used. So here's my first project that I have made. Here's the cookie sheet now. This is my beat up one. And so what I did was I took a sanding block, and I think I got this at the Dollar Tree. And I just used the side of it. You could see I used the side of it to kind of scratch up the surface of the metallic cardstock, and just in the sections like where you would have used the pan, right? Not on the edges, because you don't typically go all the way to the edge with a cookie sheet. You may if you're baking like a jelly roll, but in this case, this is a cookie sheet. So there's the stamped recipe, and what I did to adhere obviously the text is to heat emboss it in black detail embossing powder, and I use the powder that's from Simon Says Stamp. That usually works well with these types of really tiny text. The idea is not that you could read the actual recipe, because most people have their own recipes already or can look one up on the internet, but that you would have this, recipe and the cookies. So the cookies are created from some brown cardstock from Lawn Fawn. I don't remember the color, and I don't have it out. So it's one of their cardstocks from their multi-pack. And I stamped the actual cookie sheet, or the cookies, in a dark, here it is, this walnut color Lawn Fawn ink that I have. And then I actually edged the cookie with the crunchy leaf. So that's what kind of gives it the baked cookie look. And I just used one of the small ink daubers to do that on my finger. And then I went back, and over the chocolate chips, I used this pearl pen. I think that's what it is actually. I don't think it's pear pen, but dark brown. I've had this in my stash for a long time because I wanted to make chocolate covered strawberries, and this dries glossy and it looks like chocolate. So you can see here, the pan is actually, after I sanded it, I went around the whole pan with this hybrid ink to give it like a darkened up aged look, so it doesn't look so shiny. Okay, so that's my first cookie sheet tag, and I added some of that twine that I got from thrift craft shopping or whatever. with Carla when I went to see her, and the red and the brown are together. And I just took a couple of, lengths of it and then glued it to the back of the tag, and then I put a button over that, so I'd have a hanger for it. There's another cut cookie. I actually just hand cut these. I didn't use the die. And then there's a to and from, and that to and from is from an old dot set that I have purchased. It's like a Christmas set. I did back this tag with another layer of cardstock, because this foil cardstock is actually not, it's thick, but it's not thick enough to hold the tag up for what I wanted it to be. So I like a sturdy base, and that's what I have now. And then I just glued the spatula underneath the cookie here. So that is my very well loved cookie sheet recipe tag. All right, so I couldn't stop there. I made another one with a sheet that looks very new. So instead of doing the sanding on it, I just kind of kept it very nice and neat. I used some vellum to kind of imitate the parchment paper. And this is the gingerbread cookie stamp that I used on this one. This one's from PSX. You can find that on eBay. Sometimes it'll come up. The pricing on that has gone way up since I bought them originally. But yeah, so I stamped this one with VersaFine ink onto the vellum. And vellum is, again, a slick surface, kind of like this metallic cardstock. So I heat embossed a clear embossing powder over it. So it kept the color, but it was clear, and it doesn't smudge now because I've embossed it, heat embossed it. So that's, again, the second one now. Same spatula and die combo. And then these gingerbreads are actually created from a die from Memory Box. And this is the die. I don't know the name of it because I don't have the packaging with me, but this is definitely a Memory Box die. It cuts too, and all I did was snip that little string it creates to go to the bow. And I used the same brown paper that I was using from Lawn Fawn for the chocolate chip cookies. And then again, I just edged it in the lighter crunchy leaf ink. So they would look a little baked. I didn't want to put any sort of faces or frosting on them because I wanted it to look like it just came out of the oven and you're just like, taking them off the cookie sheet. So that is that tag. It's a newer looking one than this one over here. And on the back of this one, again, I just took some tinsel and some seam binding and tied them together, and then I glued them down to the back, and then I stamped these two things. And again, that's the same stamp I used before, and then I have a gingerbread one as well from Dots. This is an old set. So there's my tag. And of course you can hang this on the tree if you want. It doesn't have to be just a tag, but it's big enough to be an ornament because it's a large size. Of course, I was thinking about both a large and a small version. And the small versions do not have the recipe, but I made two. These are using a smaller die set and a smaller pan and spatula, and then the smaller gingerbread cookies. So let me show you what I used to create these little guys. All right, same cookie technique. Again, that Memory Box die that I just shared with you, and of course I don't know where I put it. There it is. The smaller of the gingerbreads from this die set. The cookie sheet comes from this set right here, which is from Divinity Designs. Now they've changed their name. I think that's the old name. And it has other pieces and parts of baking stuff in it, but I have two sets because I actually got one for free as a free gift, and I also purchased one so I could die cut faster. So this is the die set that is from them, but the actual spatula, because they don't have one on here, comes from this die set, which also has a cookie sheet. I always like to purchase different things just to look. It even has cookies, just to have them in my stash if I want to use them. So this die set is from Impression Obsession, and this is one of Anna's dies. So that's what the spatula comes from. And I just basically, after I die cut it, I kind of crease it right here at the neck, and then I run my finger down the handle of the spatula so I can make it curved. So it kind of sits up a little bit. And now these have been kind of sitting there on their own, getting crushed. But the idea is the same. And then I also punched a little hole with my hole puncher in the corner and added one of these little garment pins and a button. Now the tags come from one of the tag sets that I have. And this Warm Wishes, I know, is a paper tray ink. I think it's from the Merry Messages. Maybe Merry Mini Messages? I don't know. One of the stamp sets from Paper Tray that has really tiny sentiments. And then the Be Merry is also, it's from a different set. And I think this one was from Pine Feather when Heather was working with Paper Tray. So this is one of the journal ones, Be Merry, and it's the same idea. I added a candy cane to this one. Now they are stuck down with a pop dot so that the tag actually sticks out and you can see it, so it doesn't go down, hang down and you can't read the words Be Merry. So I did also stamp the back. So I took a different ginger, which is again from a different dot set. Really fat gingerbread, and then I colored in his little buttons and his bow tie and his hearts with some markers, just whatever I had laying around. Tombow. These are Tombow markers. So there's that tag, and I didn't add any string yet. I'm trying to see what I want to use. I think I know which one I'm going to use. This one has the same sort of thing, but instead of the gingerbread, he has little chocolate chip cookies, to match the front. So those are the cookie sheets tags that I did. And of course I had leftover die cuts, so I started pulling out some that were sitting in a container that I have. So here's one of the die cuts that I had previously cut. Now this stocking die comes from a doohickey by Magnolia kit. That kit is retired. So unless you have this already, it's a Christmas kit that came out. I think this was the second kit that came out because the first one was summer themed, I believe. So this, I believe, is kit number 2. I could be wrong, but this stocking comes from from a doohickey kit for sure. I had cut some last year and just threw it in my box and didn't use it. So I had 2 extra gingers, those big and small ones. I just glued them to the back of the stocking cuff. And then this is a Paper Tray ink die. I had cut some felt holly and used some drops for the berries. And voila, I have a tag. There's the Very Merry sentiment. I just stamped that in some brown ink. To kind of go with the gingers that are stuck down in the stocking. And I'm going to add a little string here. Again, I haven't decided what I want to use, what color I want to use. So there's another little tag with gingers. Really, really cute. All right, last one, I believe. And that's this one here. Now, again, I was just playing with some tags that I cut out previously, and I think this particular base of this tag is a Lawn Fawn tag, and it comes with different shapes. There's I think there's 4. So I had an extra ginger lying around, so I put him down on a pop dot. I added some little glitter Nuvo drops. This is the color Holiday Cheer. So for his buttons. And then Gingerbread Kisses is a stamp that is from Jaded Blossom. Now I don't know if this is still available. I purchased this set from a used seller in a lot of different Christmas items. So I don't know if this one is still available on her website, but you can see it's got some tiny sentiments on it, and it even has a gingerbread right here. Now they are all in circles because they're meant to be like little for treat boxes and bags. Like you could put them on a belly band or whatever. So that's what I used for this stamp here, and it's just stamped in some red Pure Poppy ink from Papertrey. I love this color. And then again, I just edged around it so it wasn't so stark white, and then added some pipe cleaner to it. I twisted 2 colors of pipe cleaner together, folded it, and then I added some little curls to it afterward. So that's another little tag that I have just because I was playing with some extra die cuts and parts and pieces. That is my little share for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be back with more. Thanks for watching. Bye.